Just one release this morning for you, which is quite an important one as far as the development of the Isle of Man's economy and its status as a world financial centre is concerned. As you know, the Isle of Man has worked hard over the last 15 years to understand and comply and cooperate with the international community in terms of developing high quality regulation, improved standards of transparency and tax cooperation. We've been rewarded on a number of occasions over the years by the OECD, by G20, by the US, by the IMF and other bodies and recognised as a jurisdiction which has the very highest standard in these particular areas. We obviously, though, wish to look to the long-term development of the Isle of Man economy, and we have to try and identify what are the best steps we need to make to ensure long-term sustainability of the economy generally, but also financial services. And therefore, we've clearly been following the debate over the last few months about improving standards of cooperation internationally on tax matters. You will be aware that recently the Isle of Man, along with Jersey and Guernsey, have made a commitment to negotiate a FATCA foreign account tax compliance agreement with the United States. That negotiation is continuing very positively at the moment, and we are hoping to have a conclusion in the early part of next year. Following on from that, it is quite clear that the approach that the US has to FATCA will ensure that over the short to medium term, FATCA will in fact become the new international standard for information exchange on tax matters. And FATCA in effect means automatic exchange of information. Now, the Isle of Man has worked hard over the last few years, particularly through the OECD, to develop a range of tax information agreements, tiers. We have over 30 now, I think, which is an exchange of information on request. 2 or 3 years ago, we extended that to provide automatic exchange of information on bank deposits to the members of the European Union. We were the first small jurisdiction to do that. Putting all this together and recognising we need to protect the financial services industry and create the environment for it to expand in the future, we have now reviewed our relationship with FATCA, and we believe that it would be in the Isle of Man's best interests to negotiate a similar agreement with the United Kingdom. This is a major step forward. We are reacting to the change in the international mood on tax information exchange, and I can announce this morning that we have started discussions with the United Kingdom with the aim of completing a FATCA agreement with the UK probably early in the next year. There is still a lot of work to be done, and at the moment we don't have the details of it all. That has to be worked through. But we would expect a FATCA agreement with the United Kingdom to mirror fairly closely the agreement that is being drawn up with the United States, and that the timetable for implementation will probably run very close to that for the for the US. We believe this is the right time now to send out a very strong statement to the outside world that the Isle of Man would not tolerate its financial services being abused for tax evasion purposes. And as I say, we also want to send out a very strong message that the Isle of Man is going to be fighting for new business to reposition the Isle of Man in the medium term in a far stronger and more sustainable way. We also recognise, though, that in introducing both these proposals, UK FATCA and a US FATCA, there will be pressures on the local economy. And in particular, these pressures will be reflected through an increased requirement for compliance. It's too early to say at this stage what the degree of that requirement might be, but we will obviously doing our utmost during our discussions with the US and the UK governments to ensure that that compliance is as less onerous as it could possibly be. But this is a major step forward for the Isle of Man. It's a major announcement this morning which will have a direct impact on the future direction of the Manx economy and in particular on financial services. Financial services are still a very vitally important part of the Manx economy. It currently contributes something in the region of 35% of our GDP, and therefore it is a major player in the creation of a diverse, buoyant economy, and obviously one which generates the revenues and employment opportunities we need for our people. For the moment, this is as far as I can go in terms of information. The discussions with the UK in particular are now continuing. We have had a number of meetings already with the UK Treasury, both at political and at officer level. These will continue into the new year, but I expect to have most of the details of this new agreement finished by the first quarter of next year.